The Young and the Restless, the shocking confession. Diane's dark secret revealed. The wind blows quietly through the posh homes of Genoa City, but everything is about to change when Diane Jenkins decides to confront her past. The secrets she has kept hidden for so long, the fears she thought she had forgotten, can no longer be kept hidden. In a moment neither she nor Jack Abbott could have expected, Diane decides to stop hiding. She walks into the room, her eyes no longer filled with the usual confident look, replaced by a tired, anxious look. Jack, as usual, is sitting in the living room of the Abbott mansion, thinking about work and life, completely unaware that his world is about to collapse. Diane takes a deep breath before speaking, word by word, as if she is preparing to enter a battle she cannot win. Jack, there's something I have to confess to you. Something I've kept from you for too long. Diane's voice was hoarse, filled with confusion. Jack looked up, staring at her, not quite sure what was going on. The feeling that something was wrong began to fill the air in the room. Diane lowered her eyes, not daring to meet Jack's worried gaze. "You're not Kyle's father," Diane said, each word like a knife cutting into Jack's heart. She knew that this sentence would change everything, but she couldn't continue living with that burden. Jack sat there, stunned. These words were like a huge shock, a storm pouring into his life. "What? Diane, what are you talking about?" Jack couldn't believe his ears, everything he knew about his family suddenly torn apart. "You're not Kyle's father." "His father is Ian Ward," Diane confessed. Jack was speechless, feeling as if the ground beneath his feet had disappeared. Ian Ward, the serial killer known throughout Genoa City. How could that be? He never thought Diane's past was so dark. Diane looked into Jack's eyes, seeing shock, anger, and pain that could not be hidden. She understood that this was an unacceptable truth, but she had faced it for a long time. "I didn't want you to treat Kyle badly. I kept this a secret to protect him, to protect our family. But this secret could not be buried forever." Everything began to change when Ian Ward suddenly reappeared. Although Ian was previously thought to have died in an attack at Newman Ranch, the shocking truth was that he was still alive and secretly pursuing his goals. Ian, with deep resentment towards the Newman family, especially towards Claire, who he believed was the culprit for Jordan's death, returned to Genoa City with a terrible plan of revenge. So when Ian reappears, things quickly come to a head. Ian not only wants revenge on Claire, but also seeks to eliminate Cole, who he believes could stand in the way of his plans. This could cause immense pain for Claire, and even Nick Newman, when he discovers that Ian has actually survived. Nick, who once believed Ian was dead, is now faced with an incredible truth. Faced with Ian's survival, Nick cannot sit idly by. He asks the police to investigate further, and to find out every detail about Ian's death, whether there was a lie or a cover-up. Meanwhile, Claire is drawn into Ian's dangerous game, unable to understand why he wants revenge on her so badly. Ian believes that Claire caused Jordan's death, and that's why he's willing to do anything to get revenge. She never expected that this incident would involve her so directly and deeply. However, as the truth gradually comes to light, no one can escape this profound change. Old relationships are threatened, and trust between the characters seems to be eroded. Diane, now facing the most difficult decision of her life, must confront Jack once again. What will become of their relationship when the secrets of the past are exposed? Will Jack be able to accept the heartbreaking truth that Kyle is not his son? And can their love overcome the challenges that fate has placed upon them? The Abbott family's lives are at a crossroads, and those around them will have to choose whether they can forgive past mistakes. But one thing is certain, Ian Ward is not the only one plotting revenge in Genoa City, and as secrets continue to be revealed, things will never be the same again. The Young and the Restless, the shocking return of Ian Ward, unraveling Diane's darkest secrets. The quiet town of Genoa City, where secrets have long been buried beneath polished smiles and familial ties, is about to erupt in chaos. The unexpected return of Ian Ward, the notorious serial killer, sets the stage for a drama that could change the lives of the Abbott and Newman families forever. With his return, old wounds are reopened, and buried truths come to light, truths that have been hidden for far too long. As the dark web of secrets unravels, Diane Jenkins, the woman who's carefully crafted her life in Genoa City, is forced to confront a past that she has kept buried for years. This is a tale of betrayal, revenge, and devastating family revelations that will shake the very foundation of the lives she has worked so hard to rebuild. A past that won't stay buried. Diane's heart-wrenching confession. Diane Jenkins has always been a woman of secrets. She carefully curated her life, striving to leave behind the mistakes of her past. But when Ian Ward, the man she thought was long gone, reappears in her life, it all begins to unravel. Her world, once stable and secure, is suddenly threatened by the return of a man with a past as dark and dangerous as her own. It is in the quiet of a typical evening at the Abbott mansion that Diane finally breaks under the weight of her secrets. Jack Abbott, her ever-patient and trusting husband, is sitting in the living room, unaware of the storm that is brewing. Diane, her eyes filled with an unsettling mix of fear and guilt, knows that she can no longer keep the truth from him. The past, it seems, has a way of catching up with people, no matter how hard they try to escape it. Jack, there's something I need to tell you, Diane begins, her voice shaking slightly. The words seem to hang heavy in the air, each one a bombshell waiting to explode. Jack looks up at her, sensing the gravity of the situation. What is it, Diane? He asks, his voice filled with concern. Diane takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself before continuing. Jack, Kyle. Kyle is not your son, she finally admits, the confession hitting Jack like a physical blow. His face pales, and for a moment, he's speechless. Diane's words are a cold shock, but there's more to come. Kyle's father is Ian Ward. The Ian Ward. The one you know as the notorious serial killer. The silence that follows is deafening. Jack's mind races, trying to process the enormity of what Diane has just said. Ian Ward, the man responsible for countless deaths, is Kyle's biological father. Jack cannot wrap his mind around it. Diane, whom he has loved and trusted, has been hiding this horrible truth from him for years. I didn't want to tell you, Diane continues, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't want you to treat Kyle differently, to hate him for something he has no control over. I did it to protect him. I thought I could keep him safe, keep the secret forever. But now, with Ian's return to Genoa City, everything Diane worked so hard to protect is in jeopardy. The truth is out, and it's only a matter of time before it consumes everything in its path. Ian Ward's return, revenge and chaos. Several months ago, the residents of Genoa City were shocked by the news of Ian Ward's death. He had been shot at Newman Ranch, and it was believed that he had perished in the attack. Medical personnel had declared him dead, and the entire town breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that Ian's reign of terror had finally come to an end. But in a shocking twist, viewers were stunned to see Ian's body revived in the back of an ambulance, his survival a complete mystery. His disappearance shortly thereafter, with no trace left behind, only deepened the intrigue surrounding his fate. Now, Ian has returned, and his presence is bound to shake the very core of Genoa City. Ian's return is no mere coincidence. He's not back just to pick up where he left off, he has a personal vendetta. His obsession with revenge is deeply rooted in the belief that Claire, a member of the Newman family, is responsible for the death of his son, Jordan. In Ian's eyes, Claire is the one who caused the destruction of his family, and he will stop at nothing to make her pay. Ian is a man consumed by rage and a thirst for retribution. His first target? Cole, the man Claire loves. Ian knows that removing Cole from Claire's life will bring her the kind of pain that he has carried for years. His twisted plan is to make Claire suffer the way he has suffered, and he will go to any lengths to ensure that his plan succeeds. The ripple effects. Nick Newman's investigation as Ian's return threatens to destroy everything in its path. Nick Newman, who believed that Ian was long gone, is faced with a terrifying realization. If Ian is alive, then the truth about his death must have been a lie. The authorities have been silent on the matter, but Nick refuses to let it go. His family, especially Claire, is at risk, and he cannot stand idly by while the monster who nearly destroyed them all comes back for more. Determined to uncover the truth, Nick uses his influence and resources to push for an investigation into Ian's supposed death. He pulls strings, bribes the right people, and forces the police to take action. The more Nick uncovers, the more he realizes how deep the conspiracy surrounding Ian's death runs. It is clear that someone in Genoa City was determined to cover up Ian's survival, and Nick is willing to go to any lengths to get to the bottom of it. But as the investigation progresses, Nick begins to realize that Ian's return is not just about vengeance, it's also about his twisted connection to the Newman family. The more he digs, the more he learns about Ian's obsession with Claire, and the deeper the danger becomes. With each new revelation, the stakes grow higher, and it becomes clear that Ian's return will lead to a confrontation that no one in Genoa City is prepared for. The battle for Claire, will love survive? As Ian's plans unfold, Claire finds herself at the center of a storm she never saw coming. Her love for Cole, who has been a constant source of support, is now threatened by a man who would stop at nothing to destroy her. Ian's vendetta against her family runs deep, and Claire is forced to make a choice: fight for her love and her family, or risk losing everything to a man whose hatred knows no bounds. For Cole, the battle becomes personal. Ian's attempts to destroy him and Claire push him to his limits. The pressure is mounting, and the toll it takes on their relationship is evident. Can their love survive the wrath of Ian Ward? Or will the man's return tear them apart? The consequences of Ian's return are far-reaching, and the fallout from the past is just beginning. With the truth about Kyle's parentage exposed and Ian's thirst for revenge growing stronger by the day, Genoa City is on the brink of a new chapter, one that will change everything for the Newman and Abbott families. As secrets come to light and old scores are settled, only one thing is certain: no one will leave this battle unscathed. A shattered family, what's next for Genoa City? As the story unfolds, the future of Genoa City hangs in the balance. Will Jack and Diane's marriage survive the revelation of Kyle's true paternity? Will Ian's return tear apart the Newman and Abbott families once and for all? Only time will tell. What is clear, however, is that the days of peace and tranquility in Genoa City are over. The war for survival, revenge, and family loyalty has just begun. Genoa City will never be the same again, and neither will the lives of those who live there. The stakes have never been higher, and the future is more uncertain than ever. Prepare yourself for a roller coaster of emotions, secrets, and shocking twists as The Young and the Restless continues to unravel its most gripping and devastating storyline yet. The Young and the Restless, the return of Ian Ward, secrets, lies, and revenge. The quiet, unassuming town of Genoa City, where families have been built and torn apart, is about to face a storm that will shake its very foundation. At the heart of this storm is Ian Ward, a man whose very name sends chills down the spines of all who remember his brutal past. But his return isn't just a simple reappearance, it's a revelation that will change everything for the Newman, Abbott, and many others who thought they were safely hidden from the ghosts of their pasts. The return of Ian Ward, a blast from the past. For months, Genoa City believed that Ian Ward, the infamous serial killer, had met his end at the Newman ranch. He had been shot, left for dead, and his body was believed to be a silent testament to his reign of terror. The residents of the town breathed a collective sigh of relief, certain that Ian would never again pose a threat. However, this sense of security was shattered when, in an unexpected twist, Ian is revealed to have survived. Not only did he survive, but he also disappeared without a trace, leaving the entire town in a state of confusion and fear. The shocking truth is revealed to viewers when Ian is seen alive in the back of an ambulance, his survival raising more questions than answers. What happened in the time between his presumed death and reappearance? What dark plans does he have now that he's back in Genoa City? With his sinister history and his ties to many of the town's most prominent families, Ian's return promises to be explosive, and the residents of Genoa City are about to feel the weight of his vengeance. Diane's fear. The past that won't stay buried as Ian's re-emergence threatens to unravel the peace in Genoa City. Diane Jenkins, a woman who has spent years running from her own past, faces a terrifying realization: the truth she has worked so hard to bury may finally come to light. Diane has spent years constructing a life in Genoa City, carefully distancing herself from her past and trying to build a future with Jack Abbott. But as Ian resurfaces, Diane's carefully guarded secrets come crashing down. Diane's fear is palpable. The very secrets she has tried to keep buried for years threaten to destroy everything she has built, especially her relationship with Jack. The memories of her past with Ian, a time she hoped she could forget, begin to resurface. Diane knows that the arrival of Ian Ward will bring those memories, and the terrible truth about Kyle's parentage, back to haunt her. For years, Diane has hidden the truth about Kyle's father. The world believes that Jack Abbott is Kyle's biological father, but in reality, that is far from the truth. Kyle's real father is none other than Ian Ward, the notorious killer. Diane's reasons for keeping this secret are rooted in her love for Jack and her desire to protect Kyle from the harsh reality of his lineage. But now, with Ian back in town, the truth may no longer remain hidden. The shocking truth. Kyle's parentage revealed. Diane's worst fear comes to life when she decides to confess to Jack. In a moment of crushing vulnerability, she sits down with him, knowing that her world, and their future, will never be the same once the truth is out. Jack, Diane says, her voice trembling with the weight of what she is about to reveal. There's something I need to tell you, something I should have told you a long time ago. She hesitates, gathering her courage. Jack looks at her, sensing the tension in the air, but he can't yet grasp the enormity of what's about to unfold. Jack, Diane continues, Kyle isn't your son. His father is Ian Ward. The silence that follows is deafening. Jack stares at her in shock, the words slowly sinking in. His entire world is being upended in a single moment. The woman he loves, the family he's built, the life they've shared, it was all based on a lie. Diane watches Jack's expression shift from disbelief to anguish. She can see the pain in his eyes, knowing that this revelation will tear him apart. I didn't want you to hate him, Jack, Diane explains, her voice breaking. I didn't want Kyle to suffer because of something he couldn't control. I thought if I kept it a secret, everything could stay normal. But now, with Ian back, I don't know how much longer we can keep this from him. Ian's vengeance. Claire in his sights. Ian's return is not just about reuniting with his son, his vengeance runs much deeper. For years, Ian has been consumed by hatred and revenge, particularly towards Claire, a member of the Newman family. He believes that Claire is responsible for the death of his son, Jordan, and he will stop at nothing to make her pay. When Ian arrives in Genoa City, he immediately begins to put his plans for retribution into motion. His first target, Claire. Ian's hatred for her knows no bounds, and he has spent years plotting his revenge. The pain he feels over the loss of his son has twisted into an obsession with making Claire suffer, and he sees no way forward but through destruction. Ian's ultimate goal is to tear apart Claire's life, and he begins with Cole, the man she loves. Ian believes that removing Cole from the equation will cause Claire the most pain, and he is determined to make it happen. But as his plans unfold, he quickly realizes that Claire is not the only one he will have to contend with. Nick Newman, Claire's family, and many others in Genoa City are caught in the crossfire of Ian's vendetta. Nick's investigation, the truth about Ian's death. As Ian's presence in Genoa City becomes more disruptive, Nick Newman, who had once believed Ian to be dead, begins to investigate his supposed death. Nick's suspicions grow when he learns that there was more to the story than what the authorities had told him. He begins digging into the details of Ian's disappearance, trying to uncover the truth behind his survival. Nick's investigation quickly reveals that Ian's death was faked. The authorities had covered up his survival, and someone had been protecting him. As the investigation deepens, Nick discovers that Ian's return isn't just a coincidence. It's part of a much larger plan of revenge against his family. Faced with the return of a dangerous enemy, Nick is forced to take action. He pushes for a full investigation into Ian's actions, hoping to uncover the truth and stop the cycle of vengeance before it's too late. The final confrontation: will Ian's revenge destroy everyone? As the story unfolds, the stakes get higher. Ian's plan for revenge continues to grow more dangerous, and Claire finds herself at the center of his wrath. But the damage doesn't stop with Claire, it extends to her loved ones, her family, and even the town itself. Genoa City is on the brink of destruction as Ian's anger takes hold. Will Diane's confession drive Jack away, or will their bond survive the devastating revelation? Will Kyle's future be tainted by his father's dark legacy? Can Claire and Cole withstand the emotional and physical toll of Ian's revenge? And will Ian's thirst for vengeance be his undoing, or will he succeed in tearing apart the families that he believes have wronged him? As the tension mounts, the residents of Genoa City must confront their darkest fears and deepest secrets. The truth will come out, and lives will be changed forever. In the end, the return of Ian Ward may not only be about revenge, it could also be the catalyst for a new chapter in the lives of everyone in Genoa City. But one thing is certain. Nothing will ever be the same again.